things off for whether it's multi-generational or, in this case, you know,
millennials.
almost like a frat house or a sorority house. To a
Yeah,
certain
not
extent.
somebody like cook and
Yeah.
clean or just like just the kitchen area. It's like, you know, who wants to clean the kitchen? You can have a huge bedroom.
So anyway, those are some interesting thoughts. I mean, I think you know, it's great stuff to obviously kind of begin to ponder and think about, because we do spend a lot of our energy thinking about the product that already exists in the marketplace and looking at the market dynamics of that product type, you know, of sort of, you know, saying, okay, you know, when we're going to do market research, what are you going to do? You're going to pull, okay, well, here are the market characteristics in terms of rental rates, in terms of occupancy rates, in terms of operating expenses, and so forth, for this very traditional kind of, you know, 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, or, you know, whatever the product type is. And, you know, it does pose a real challenge on the financing side of things, as Tony, you know, was suggesting, that whenever you do come up with a new concept of kind of switching things around, that the lenders are usually exceedingly skeptical, because, once again, they're very comfortable in lending on something they have lent on multiple times over, and they kind of know how it's performed. And they have that backup information to make themselves sort of feel comfortable. But at the same time, one has to begin to wonder, is the past necessarily going to be a good predictor of the future as it relates to that? Okay, all right. So we've got a few administrative things I want to talk about that I think are going to make you theoretically happy. Okay. One, dealing with the Saturday/evening classes for the summer. Okay. So I've had conversations with the other instructors that are teaching this summer, and we've come up potentially with an idea/solution for this. I'm going to put it out there, let you give me feedback, and then we'll potentially see if this might be a way of solving the problem for those of you that are wanting to do and continue to do evening classes, at least for the summer. Now, the solution is not going to be the solution kind of going forward. It would be kind of just the solution potentially for the summer. So, as an example, what we are thinking is we would have the Saturday class taught on Saturday as is normal. It would be video recorded. What we would do is any and all sort of tests, projects, papers, quizzes, whatever it's going to be, would then, for the people sitting there on Saturday, as well as the people who would effectively pretty much just be watching the videotape sometime after Saturday, would then have work that would be due, tests that would be needed to be done in an online sort of format subsequent during the week. Now, here's what we're sort of kind of thinking is, as an example, with the real estate accounting course that San Miguel is teaching. So the class would meet hypothetically on Saturday. The video would be uploaded by typically Sunday morning. Then assignments would be made based upon that material that was covered in the class on Saturday. It would then be due, let's say, by Friday, okay, in terms of, like I said, a quiz, a test, a project, a case study, whatever it is, and it would be submitted electronically. And there would probably be, in some cases, if it's a quiz or a test, then maybe a time of, let's say, like 6 to 7 p.m., you would be emailed the test, you would work on it, and then it must be submitted back by 7 p.m. Now, another piece that we thought that we could insert here is we might push the testing time back to 7 to 8 p.m., and then maybe from 6 to 7 p.m. possibly have a either a conference call or some sort of a chat room session or some sort of interactive kind of experience to let you, whether you've attended the Saturday class or you were simply watching the video during that week, that you would then be able to ask questions, you'd be able to kind of get things clarified, and effectively at that point, then you hopefully would get all that stuff out of your, conscious to be able to sort of focus on maybe a test or a project or whatever it might be during, let's say this time from 7 to 8 p.m. And then you sort of start the whole routine all over again for the following. Now keeping in mind that like with the accounting course, it meets every other week, okay? And so, you would contain all of it, within that 1 week, and you really wouldn't have to mess with it again until, obviously, 2 weeks later. The same sort of format would also be used for the land use planning course that meets every the other alternative weeks, and kind of use that same general format. Now, my course, the investments course, what I would do, it would basically be the same thing, but this one meets over 14 weeks, every single Saturday morning from 8 until 10:15, and so there you would obviously have much more compressed assignments, not going to be, as substantive as the ones would be for these two, okay? But we would also set aside, some sort of time, might be on Thursday night, something like that. But that would be a way that you would have the option. You would go ahead, register for the Saturday section, but then you would have the option of saying, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to attend the Saturday section, participate, do all of that, or simply watch the video on Sunday or anytime that week, do whatever work that you need to do, and then be prepared to effectively have some sort of a chat session between, let's say, 6 to 7, and then do some sort of a test like 7 to 8. So, what I am looking for is feedback, okay? So, thoughts, comments, observations. Okay, Harold.
I mean, my only thing would be that work for me, except the whole reason why I can't do the Saturday thing is because I'll be traveling, usually from Friday to Sunday. So the whole Friday thing kind of messes me up, But
And it doesn't have to be Friday. I mean, that's the sort of thing that, that's why we're looking for feedback. It could be Thursday night. You're already doing Thursday nights.
Thursday night,
Why not Thursday night?
Thursday night would be a good, I would agree with Harold. I would say Thursday night for the chat session and the quizzes.
Because what we could do, and this would be another model to sort of think about it, is we could say that since the investments course is shorter, compressed, the investments course would be Tuesdays, okay, doing whatever you're going to do on Tuesday nights, and then the accounting and land use planning course, because they're alternating weeks, those would be, let's say, on Thursday nights. So that you would effectively be keeping kind of the same schedule, at least as it relates to things that you're going to have to do in terms of tests or, that sort of thing. Okay, other thoughts?
Well, just something I was thinking about with the, so we wouldn't really be able to use the weekends, I guess, to work on any assignments, is that?
Well, I mean,
unless it was like a month in advance that we were given.
I mean, I suppose theoretically we could sort of say that maybe these, that instead of it being done after the end of that week, that maybe we postpone it until the fall, and since it is alternating weeks, we could give a little bit of extra time to do it that way, which I'm certainly open to.
Like for Professor Wertzer's class, I know a lot of his assignments are due at 6 on Sunday, and I often, I'll do some of the reading in the week, and then when the weekend comes, then I'll start, preparing for the quiz or the assignment or whatever it is, just for the work schedule. But I think that this is a good kind of a way to accommodate the schedule.
Because I know that some of you are adamantly can't do Saturday for one reason or another, and I get that, I do. But then the others of you is kind of like, well, it's sort of inconvenient, it's not really what I want to do, but I can do it, so it kind of gives a little bit of flexibility, and or maybe the sort of situation of, I can't be here every Saturday, but I could be here maybe, you know, some of the Saturdays, so you can kind of, those that you can be here, you're here, those that you can't, you're not, and, you know, so that's a possibility as well. Yep.
So those would be 4-hour videos that we would have to watch? We're not here on.
For the investments course runs from 8 o'clock to 10:15 each morning, so that's 2 hours and 15 minutes. The other courses run from basically 10:15 to, I believe it's actually 3:45. Okay, and so with a lunch break built in there.
So it's about 3 hours.
Okay. I mean, I'll be able to do that 8 to 10:15 Saturdays. I mean, I'm just gonna work a little late. Whatever.
He's wanting to see if this accommodation helps you. Which you were one of those people who was like, you can't do Saturday.
Well, I can do 8 to, I could possibly do 8 to 10:15. I can't do the 10 to 3 for sure.
No, but so does this help you though? More than having to show up on a Saturday from 10 to 3? Because even if those classes still continue, what
I'm
we're
trying to see if
doing
I can
is,
do the 8 to 10:15 plus the, like maybe the, what is that, investments and accounting. I can do the accounting one online.
but what he's saying is he's making all these classes like he's trying to make them so that they're Tuesday and Thursday online.
Oh, okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's what he's trying to do.
Isn't it gonna change the dynamic? Maybe the people that, what if everybody ends up basically just watching the video?
No, that's not going to happen. I mean, I don't have any doubt about that because too many people want to be in class.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
and
I would probably come some Sundays, but, you know, the thing is, I was looking at schedules, I'm gonna be traveling a lot, so.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out some sort of way to accommodate you as best as we possibly can. I mean, the big issue is your cohort has shrunk to the point of where it's not financially feasible for us to offer a class with less than 10 students in it, and so in the evenings. So from that
I
standpoint,
mean, I could do this if it was on Thursday.
you know.
Otherwise, essentially, it's like the same thing.
Yep.
The same phenomenon.
No, and I think that's a good suggestion to try to, you know, do it, to kind of keep it consistent with what you're already doing in terms of whatever's going to be like tested or whatever's going to be done. And you know, there could even be, you know, another way of doing that. We could even say that if you want to do the test in person, we could even, you know, potentially maybe have it so that we have a proctor or whatever come in. If you don't want to do it online, you can come in and potentially do it.
My only concern is these are math, well, maybe not the accounting because it's concept, but the investment one is math classes. And if you're only giving budgeting an hour and everyone's getting on and asking questions before exams, I don't think it's enough time because you're essentially teaching yourself the material or learning it off of a video, but then you don't have time to ask questions, you know, to make sure you are quiet.
Market feasibility?
But there's no math.
This is very hard to take on.
But there's no math.
Which one?
That.
Where's
market
it?
feasibility. So that's another thing I wonder, which one of those up there lends itself to that sort of learning.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very difficult to take on.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like an option.
Exactly,
You can
that's
do
why
the
I-
class or do it online, or both. Like,
Right.
let's say they can't go that Saturday, then you just watch the video.
Correct.
Saturday.
Correct.
I think that's feasible. No?
I just think because of the concept, the content, I don't think so. I don't think it's feasible because of the content.
But you have the option.
But you can still
You
come
can
to
still
the
come
class,
or take
but
online.
actually,
No.
my thing is
My job is slow, slow season.
These classes, are they the type of classes that, okay, like accounting, is it gonna have a lot of like work problems?
Yeah, but
type
they-
It's a lot of case studies.
Think about it, they're every other Saturday, they're not every Saturday.
But Rosie, you're teaching yourself the material.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
watching a video and you're having to learn it that way. As
No,
you're
no,
going
but
through it, you're not able to have a conversation
But
about
we were
it.
talking
Unless
about
you
in terms
email.
of workload, we were talking in terms of workload.
Yeah, and I would disagree with the way in which you're describing it, where you're teaching yourself, because you're not. You're still watching the same exact material as it is presented to a live audience, but it just so happens you're not in that live
It's like
audience.
they're doing it over there.
You know, you're going to, and so you can still, the thing about it is, it's not like you're going to be precluded from sending questions to the, like for example, let's say Sunday afternoon, you're watching the video. As you're watching the video, you're saying, oh my God, I don't understand depreciation as it applies to residential property, and I'm going through that part of the video right now, you can immediately type me an email and say, I don't understand the difference between residential and commercial properties as it relates to depreciation. I can reply back, hopefully within 24 hours, to answer that question. So I don't see it at all in the way that you're teaching yourself. You are still getting the same exact content that you would be getting in the face-to-face class. The only difference is, yeah, you're not going to be able to ask a live question, but chances are somebody in the audience is going to end up probably asking that question if you follow what I'm saying. There's not going to be a situation of where, let's say, I'm going to be lecturing to an empty room, you know, and there's no, like with Wurtzer, that's probably a good example to use. With that, he's lecturing to an empty room. You know, there is no, you know, there is no, you know, sort of give and take back and forth. You know, it's a very, you know, sort of structured thing. Now, am I saying it is perfect? Am I saying it's ideal? Am I saying any of that? No, I'm saying this is an alternative for those of you that feel very strongly that you cannot, for whatever reasons, or don't want to do Saturday, but yet you still want to complete the degree program in a timely fashion. Here is a way to accomplish that. That's what I'm trying to compromise to the extent that I can, legitimately, and, you know, move it forward.
I wonder if there's a software solution. I mean, just like somebody goes and sits over there, can I just like log into that stream and essentially be on my laptop?
I will check on that. But then again, it sounds like to me that the Saturday thing is not so much an issue of that, like for example, Alex, you're physically working somewhere during that 10 o'clock to 3:30. So therefore, even if it was streamed live, you're not going to benefit from that.
And you're traveling.
You know.
So.
But yeah, but yours, you know, might be a little bit different. That yeah, you're traveling, you're sitting in a hotel room or whatever it might be to be. So that's a little bit of a different possibility for you. And I'm not throwing that out as that it's not doable. I think we probably could figure out a way to do that.
No, I think you know, at the point, it could be just like for me, you know, I live in Brickell, so coming here could take 45 minutes, but on my way home from work, it only takes me 15 minutes because I work up in Fort Lauderdale. So just, you know, different kind of take on it.
I agree with Bridget. I see where she's coming from, and in reference to Dr. or Professor Wurtzer. There's so many times where I just want to stop and be like, wait, explain that again. A lot with him, particularly. I don't know if it's the accent. I don't know if it's something I just lost in translation there. So I don't know if that's specific to him, but I definitely agree with you. For me, it's a little frustrating because I specifically signed up for this program because it's offered on evenings.
Right. And what you should have been told by Matt, he was certainly instructed to tell everyone that everything is contingent upon enrollment. You know, if we don't have 10 students, you know, that is, you know, that's the minimum number of people we need to have sitting in the room paying tuition.
So is it just a matter of us getting 10 people to agree to a subject for that Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday thing? Is that how we can get our Tuesday, Thursday class?
But the problem is, we don't have that 10.
Let's try to get it now.
No, we don't have that.
Yeah.
Because I know how many students we have in the program. I know how many are in the Tuesday, Thursday cohort. We actually even took a survey last week, and the maximum number that we got to was 8.
But Kathy's not in the Tuesday, Thursday cohort. She's here, so maybe
I would
people
do
from the Saturday
investments.
class would like to come over
So who can
and
do
do
investments
evening
on
classes.
Tuesday?
Not your Dustin.
I would do
would
investments
it.
on
It's
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
still on a Saturday,
Dustin
you
would
just
do
gotta
it. He's not.
take,
Yeah.
he
He's
said
not-
do
he's
assignments
not
on
doing
Tuesday.
Saturdays.
No, but they were.
So you'd be able to watch it on a video, do the assignments, or if you can come early, you come early.
No, we're talking about what doesn't.
No, physical
No.
class on a Tuesday.
We're trying to come to a consensus.
They're not physically on a Tuesday.
They can be. We're trying to see if we can come to a consensus. Exactly. We're trying to.
I think as well, I think there is like a, potentially, like for me, being so new to commercial real estate, like I want the hands-on feeling, like I'm
Me too.
learning the financials in a place where I have access to you, where as I'm misunderstanding something, I'm like, wait, I didn't get it, you know? So I think that's where a little bit of my angst too, but again, I'm more flexible because I can come on Saturday.
Can you do an investment on a Tuesday?
I can, like, I'm open to coming, whatever works
How
for
about
the
you,
cohort.
Kenya?
Well,
Investment?
Tuesdays, Thursdays,
And
when
I
I
know-
sign up for with
Can
this
you?
program.
So that's already 4 people here.
But I
Remember,
mean, and
he got to
not
8.
everybody, well, just
Yeah, but
in this class.
everyone was just
though.
like
We
kind
were
of like
missing
guessing.
Dustin and we're missing Charlene when we did it,
Yeah, I
so.
know for a fact that
Yeah.
Dustin would
Dustin?
take those
Yeah.
2 classes, but he's
Dustin?
not gonna take them on Saturday. He said he would do two, like
Tuesday,
he's been
Thursday.
doing,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's another person that's not
Harold,
here.
can
and
you
who
do
else
Tuesday
is
investment?
not here.
Harold is Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah, we can all do Tuesday
Yeah.
and Thursday, we
But
just
for
need
that
to agree
class?
on.
You know, I know that. The problem is, we've got to have at least 10 people.
But it's
Remember,
really
remember
Each
some people
of
dropped out?
I would do
those.
investment on Tuesday.
I would too. Anyone else?
I mean, confirm, sign my name
How
up.
many is
I'll
that?
sign up now.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
That's
7,
Dustin
8,
makes
9. Dustin, 10.
Harold.
Harold?
Hello.
There we go.
That's 11. I think
Okay,
we should
well,
vote. That would
here's
be a
what,
count
here's what,
vote.
okay, here's what I will do. I will have them open up sections of these classes for Tuesday, Thursday. But if we don't get 10, it's killed.
Okay.
Well,
Done.
I would like to try, because I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
The thing is this is what he did last week, guys. He said, who's open to taking this class on Tuesday, Thursday? He labeled accounting, he labeled investment, he labeled land use. You can't think that everyone's gonna have the same course load as you, taking investment, accounting, and land use. For me, I'm only taking 2. And for me, I think about the course mix.
Yep.
I'm not gonna take a hard,
Here's what I think is
3
gonna
hard
happen.
courses.
If what I'm hearing is going to happen, probably what will happen is we will probably do investments, since I can control that. I'll teach that course, so I can commit to saying that'll be Tuesday. And the accounting course would probably not happen on, in a face-to-face, so it'd be land use planning would be on Thursday.
That's a tough one, because everyone, you took land planning, right?
No one's
it's a
taking land use
different- No, it's a
planning.
different type.
Okay.
That's land use law that you took.
That's a good mix, yeah.
That
That's a
is
good
good
Land,
mix.
Yeah,
land
That's a
use
good mix.
law
It
is
was the
all about
accounting one that really asked
entitlements.
for.
Land
It's
use
like,
planning is
no.
about the physical sort of site planning.
That's a good mix, that is a great mix.
Yeah.
Tuesday,
I'll
Thursday.
commit to those classes.
It still happens every other week.
No,
No,
these-
this would be every Tuesday, Thursday.
This would be,
Every week.
let's see, I'm gonna have to think about this for a second.
Oh, wait, yeah, because it's
Because it's
4
4
hours.
hours.
So would it be for only 8 weeks?
Hold on,
Okay.
because summer is different. Summer is weird for a number of reasons, that they
Thank you for
will
making this happen.
only allow for 7-week terms or 14-week terms.
Okay.
And so what will have to happen potentially is we might have to make sure I do the math correctly, but we might have to do it over 14 weeks, but it would be maybe every other Tuesday, or not every other Tuesday, but let me work it out. I will send it to you as to how I think it might be able to be done. Because I don't want to commit to it until I know. Now, the other aspect is, so what will probably happen though, once again, the accounting course is probably going to have to be delivered in an online format because San Miguel is not going to be able to come in during the week over the summer to deliver that course.
Interesting.
Now, is that accounting, can you just go over what exactly that entails, like? what's
It's
the concept?
primarily a case study driven course focused on looking at a lot of tax related things, looking at specifically how you depreciate different types of real estate assets, looking at a lot of the valuation of assets, whether kind of looking at book value versus the current market value, how these things get treated from an accounting perspective whenever you're trying to value a development company or value an actual real estate asset. So it's a lot of very much kind of understanding certain rules, understanding certain procedures to be able to basically go through that process.
Okay.
Whereas like the investments course is pretty much all spreadsheets, okay?
Okay.
Like Excel spreadsheets. And the land use planning course, it's gonna be, for the most part, you know, kind of how do you go about allocating different uses, maybe within a community, or specifically, you know, talking about different types of plans that exist and kind of how communities grow.
Who teaches that class?
It'll probably be Wurzer.
Oh,
Is he in Germany?
I've never had one.
So,
Yeah, just putting it.
yeah, he'll be coming here.
Oh, wow.
Is Hen ever teaching again?
Who?
Hen?
Yeah, he'll be teaching the land use law course next time it's offered in the evening. On Saturdays, Tracy Lautenschlager teaches it. But she's unable to teach it on Thursday nights or during the week because of council meetings that she has to go to. Okay, all right. So let me work on this, see what I can pencil together for potentially an evening schedule. But I'm gonna be absolutely, this is brutal. If you have 9 students, the class is not making, okay? So 10 students or more, the class will make for those evening courses.
Yeah.
So for the summer, essentially Tuesday, Thursday, those 2 classes,
Yep,
and then online, the,
the accounting course.
and the, construction, or no construction?
No, no construction.
Okay,
The,
Argus,
only if you took
Yeah.
the other Argus class. If you have not taken that Argus class that was offered this semester, that 2 credit, you are not doing the Argus class this summer.
I think that's just me, is that, and that's obviously online, right?
Yes,
And just to clarify, the accounting class is online, or it's the Saturday video
it is going to be
class?
the Saturday thing.
So but we'll have a
8 to
video
5.
thing.
No, accounting will be every other Saturday from the 10:15 until 3:30, and it will be recorded, and then you will have this format that I talked about earlier, okay?
Okay, that would be.
All right, does that make sense, everybody?
thank you.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Okay, all right, anything else? Okay,
So,
all right,
I'm just thinking, some of us are gonna sign up for like land use planning on a Thursday.
let me put it this way. What you really ought to do is you should form a coalition, and you should all register for this and for this, and not for the accounting class.
There we go. That's right.
If you want to ensure that these classes are going to make for
Exactly.
Tuesday and Thursday evenings.
So those will be, so what you're saying is that those will be offered, and then if it doesn't meet the 10, then they get canceled? But
Right.
we'll be able to register for them, at least
Right.
initially?
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is tomorrow, and it won't pop up on the schedule tomorrow, because believe it or not, it takes them time to put all of this into the system, so chances are it won't show up until sometime Monday. But where you would be able to register for these as evening courses over the summer. And what I will do is I will send out an announcement to all of you, as well as all of the other students, saying, here are the times in which these are gonna meet, and more than likely probably in the same room, all that sort of stuff. But I'm gonna have to figure out the exact amount of time and the number of class sessions and that sort of thing, because we have, believe it or not, really weird restrictions in the summer as to, that's why we end up this wacky 14-week thing and 7 instead of 8. It's just that's the only way they will allow us to run the classes. So once I find out what they will allow me to do, then I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the accounting still happens on a Saturday.
Yes. So you can still take it, and take it either on Saturday or take it, on Saturday with the online kind of aspect to it. Okay, so it's not like you're being precluded from taking it. I am just simply saying, you need both of these, you might as well go ahead and take both of these now. Okay? All right? Final last call.
Cuba?
Cuba, still just the same as it was last week. We're not gonna know anything more about that until we kind of get more, obviously, definitive information about what the costs are gonna be, and that's not really gonna be forthcoming until we, the airlines start saying, here's what the cost is, or one of the boats or ships that would take us there, or ferry.
When did you charter a plane?
Well, that's always a possibility too, but chances are that's gonna be a heck of a lot more expensive.
Surprise.
I'm not saying I wouldn't, but but at the same time, I have a feeling we can probably come up with one of these other options, maybe a little bit less expensive. Okay, anything else? Okay, get out of here, go home.
Oh wait, last quick announcement is about Red Stuff. So if you don't know, we have formulated Red Stuff, and we have a solid board of executives. Darla is our secretary, and Alexandra Hall is our director of marketing. I'm your VP, and we really want to serve you guys. One announcement is we are putting together an event calendar, which will include mixers just for the cohorts. And so if you have any ideas about what you would like to see in the mixers, or any ideas of what you would like to see or help in the program, just let one of us know. We'd love to kind of compile all those ideas and then kind of dish them out in a more solid, organized way. Cool?
I already clicked that. Bye-bye. I got you in office.
Yeah, no, we actually,
We do a lot of stuff like that.
don't talk over me, one at a time. And
That was a way to open it.
Sorry, what?
who's in the event manager?
Take 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, he's right across the street. That's what he's offering. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Send it to the marketing.
in other words,
I will
they're every other
Or
week.
living on top of stuff.
Alex Hall.
What do you mean, explain?
She's a perfect girl. She's the one that's normally in West Palm.
Oh, all right.
So let her know.
Dr. Forgy, thank you.
Hold on.
I'm organizing Dustin right now. I'm like, Dustin, leave.
Investments meets from 8 until 10:15 in the morning, okay? And that is over 14 weeks, okay? After investments meets, every other week is accounting. It meets from 10:15 to whatever, 3:45. And LU, land use planning, also meets from 10:15 to 3:45. This is 1 week, this is the next week, and then it repeats. This is the next week, this is the next week. So it's over, it's both of them, all of them are technically all over 14 weeks. If these meet 7 times, this meets 14 times.
Although what was the date for last week was that accounting was for the first 8 weeks and then.
No, it's not in that, it's not that way.
Okay.
It is every other week is accounting, every other week is land use planning, over 14 weeks.
You have to do that Argus class because you're the only one that signed up for it.
You made a serve.
Thank you.
Yep.
For the information.
Nope.
Stay on me.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, so
I just want to make sure everything is clear.
yeah.
So for accounting, no reading,
Thank you, Dr. Forgy, we
make
appreciate it.
Stay on
sure that
me.
for the other two.
There's still reading, it's more technical.
Okay.
And there's probably less reading, actually the least amount of reading, probably for the investment course.
You're like, if it happens.
Look, Al, it's very simple, that's all I can say.
Thank you.
Yep.
I like having the opportunity to.
And thanks for the connect with the others.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they'll reach out.
Probably should do is get some kind of like,